There is a second option that might explain the descriptive of Miriam as a Neviah, in line with the definition of a Navi as one who takes a leadership role and or responsibility for the direction that the community takes. This approach would be linked into the statement regarding Miriam's Shirah, as that with Miriam we have the inclusion of the Tupim and the Mecholot, song and dance, which appear to be strikingly absent from Moshe's Shirah with the men. One might suggest that this reflects the differences between the two genders. As a general rule, women are much more expressive with their feelings, which in this case is reflected with the inclusion of Tupim and Mecholot. There is, however, an alternative explanation for the Tupim and the Mecholot, in which the text reflects a position recorded in Gemara Brachot Daf Chaf Daled. In the Gemara we have a series of statements that, in my humble opinion, have been at best misunderstood, at worst used to further political agendas by people who should know better in Israel, to marginalize and delegitimize the entire Haredi community, to drive a wedge between religious and the non-religious, and in Chutz La'aretz between centrist and right-wing branches of Orthodox Judaism. The Gemara makes 4 statements regarding women that are deemed to be erevah, and it is the definition of this term erevah and its application that is the cause for conflict and divisiveness. The word erevah, as used in the texts, translates as nakedness, and while its usage generally points to the revelation of parts of the human body that are normally covered, it is very often used as a euphemism for activities that go beyond nudity. As, for example, in the narrative of Sefer Bereshit, where following the flood, Noach plants a vineyard. With time, he grows grapes, becomes intoxicated, and becomes involved in behavior that was quite inappropriate. Vayitgal batoch oholah. Rashi points out that the shoresh for Vayitgal is Gimel Lamed Hey, a word that is linked into nakedness, revealing, uncovering oneself. It also is a word that's connected to Galut, exile. What specifically he did is unclear. It certainly must have been with something of a very serious nature beyond merely lying naked upon his bed. Cham, one of his sons, we are told in Pasuk 22, sees the Erevat Aviv and informs his 2 brothers. Shem and Yafet take a garment, they place the garment al Shechem, Shnehem, suspending it between their shoulders, and they walk in acharonit. They walk in backwards. Vayichasu et Erevat Avihem, covering the erevah of their father. And because they were walking in backwards, they were facing away from their father, the Chumash testifies that erevat avihem lo ra'u. When Noach had recovered from his state of intoxication, he is absolutely horrified and responds with Arur Canaan. Canaan, the son of Ham, shall be cursed. That Eved Avadim Yehiyeh Le'echav. He and his descendants will forever be subjugated to the descendants of Ham's 2 brothers, Shem and Yafet. Judging by the reaction of Noach, this Erevat Avihem must have been something more serious than nudity. What specifically it was is not mentioned in the Chumash and is left to the speculation of the commentators to the text, who would interpret Ham's sin within the mores of their times and their locations. A second example where the term erevah goes beyond mere nakedness relates to the incident in which the 10 sons of Yaakov present themselves to the authorities. In this case it was Yosef. He remembers the dreams, or at least visions, prophecies of the future, which to him were beginning to unfold, sets in motion a plan for their fulfillment, part of which was to accuse the brothers of being spies. Meragli matem. Lirot et erevat haaretz batem. You have come to see the nakedness of the land, which Rashi in his commentary maintains that every use of the word erevah throughout the texts connote the exposure, the revelation of that which is normally hidden. So from here we see that the term erevah needs to be interpreted within the context in which it is used. At one level it refers to the state of physical nakedness, and even this, as we shall see, has a context. It can be used as a euphemism for inappropriate sexual activity, and as we have seen in the text, a euphemism for information about a country that should not fall into the hands of the enemy.